I have been staring at a blank screen for centuries. There's a tingling in my palms every time winter comes. It wraps itself around the red knuckles that paint my skin like a cigarette butt. There's a stillness in the air I have been longing for, a certain peace in the exhalations of my breath that only come once a year, like the seasons do. It was winter when I made my first trip to the subway, past a man on the side of the platform who had gray hair shaded perfectly in its hopelessness. I could see the splinters spilling out from the scars on his neck, rusted bricks for bones, two sunken eyes dimmed like subway headlights, rounding every corner you couldn't quite see. He was blind. He was chipping away at the concrete that was swallowing him whole. I looked like I was talking to a wall. He said, "Son, do you have any idea how long I've been waiting for you?" Just then the lights flickered. The subway came crashing through the wall. My eyes were drowned out by the madness. I heard underground street angels rippling through the colors, singing hymns in the cracks of the pavement. Flowers blossomed in the rubble. In front of me, a yellow iris, tiptoeing through shattered snowfalls, concrete imprisonment, metaphors for the masses. A yellow iris, aka 17-year-old single mother from Detroit taking night classes to avoid the shackles of a cycle that has held her hostage since conception. There was ice. It was cold, it was winter. It's always winter when you can see breaths breaking like rusted subway tracks veering off course. As humans, we experience an average of 70,000 thoughts per day. That's 1.2 thoughts per second while awakened. I saw every single one of them burst into an effulgence so bright that it kept me awake for 3 straight days. My veins were torchlights, lighting fuses under patchwork gardens, stemming from the pulse of a man sinking into the ether by the side of the subway. He said, "Son, I have been waiting too long." The man vanished in a plume of smoke. I went blind. Hands trembled to mark the changing of the seasons. My knuckles were vibrant red, red like the rose growing in my right hand, aka 52-year-old cab driver from Chicago working overtime so his kids can drive their way to a college education. And in my left hand, a white, hunched over 3-leaf snowdrop, aka 28-year-old Iraqi war vet from southern Georgia with just enough heart left to know there was always enough room to blossom back upwards. I just want this garden to grow beautifully somewhere. These thoughts were back. They pounded through my brain like circuitry, like a circus of city angels dancing their way across subway cars. I heard Mozart's symphonies cracking my skull in the left ear, Galileo tunneling telescopes through my right ear. Unstoppable force meets immovable object. There was a backlash, a fight that lasted centuries and held up blank screens to fill the silence. They were chugging through my brain like a runaway subway. Noises so sublime that to others sounded only like static, but to me sounded like you are powerful. We are powerful as humans. We experience an average of 70,000 thoughts per day. It's no longer winter. I no longer spend time down by the subway tracks. But every time I see a flower in bloom, I pick it up and I listen for the heartbeat of the petals across my palms so I can still feel the changing of the seasons, and I run to the nearest wall I can find. I place my hands in prayer around the concrete. Let the colors ripple their way from my fingertips into the cracks until the screen that I have been staring at for centuries is no longer blank.